start with the outline. Are we good to go?
Yep.
Okay. This is me. Okay, so Jackie and Megan and Amy are sitting here with me, as are all of our long distance people. And we're basically going to do an ITC. And once you're cool enough, you could call it an ITC. But for the new people, it's Introductory Training Class. But we are so cool now that we call it an ITC. And when you come into Parkland, I always start with the company background, because I honestly feel like when I went up to interview for this job, I felt so good about the company that it made me do a way better job for them. And I think when you know some of the stuff I know, you'll feel really thrilled to work for them. And one of the things, and as you're passing the word and growing your business, like the company's been around for 56 years, okay? They're the #1 direct sales jewelry company in the world, which actually kind of shocked me because I had never heard of them. They are a family-run company, and Arthur and Shirley Levine started this company when they were 16 and 18 years old. Can you imagine even following someone who was 16 years old? And all these people followed her. She must have been quite a character. But they actually sat down and they knew they wanted to start their own business, and they wanted it to be a product that would stand the test of time. And I'd never really thought of jewelry that way, but they came up with jewelry, and I'm like, of course, Cleopatra did jewelry. The American Indians made jewelry, all the way back to today. And it's also like I used to sell a different product that was consumable, and I used to love that it was consumable. Well, come to find out, fashion is consumable. It changes all the time, and it's very seasonal. So as a salesperson, jewelry is a really, really cool thing to sell. I found it. But anyway, they're a family-run business, and Shirley and Arthur went on to have 8 kids. And the kids have almost every single one of them has worked in the business. And if you will be at a convention or any place, and you see like even little kids running around, those are like their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. Like nobody gets a free ride. I'm sure they have trust funds, because they're, millionaires, but everybody has to work themselves up through the business. They start in the warehouse or whatever. So even when I was telling my husband about that really impressed him. He's like, I like this company. I like the idea of this company. Well, what happened is in 2002, Arthur and Shirley handed the company over to their sons. There are 3 of their sons who run the company now. And the CEO is Scott Levine. And that's when, if you can even picture this, they got computers. That's when they used to have this rule. Shirley and Arthur didn't think computers, they thought they were a fad. So they weren't willing to invest in them in 2002. So remember a little bit earlier when I said I was concerned that I had never heard of them? That's why. What happened is they used to have this huge influence in the St. Louis area. But because they didn't have the gifts of technology, and because they used to have some old-fashioned rules, like they had this rule that you weren't allowed to hire anyone who didn't live within 50 miles of you. Well, I could have hired either of you, because you guys both live outside 50 miles of me. So I wouldn't have been allowed to. And their thinking at that time was we want them to be able to get good training and stuff. Well, now, people drive further. Here we are doing this webinar thing. We do Skype. So they lifted that rule in 2002. So when Paul and I, that's my husband, were looking into whether or not I should do this, we were like, we studied all of their stats. They have an A+ rating in the Better Business Bureau. Like I said, they're the #1 direct sales company, jewelry company in the world. They've had growth every single month since their inception 56 years ago. Sometimes it was only 0.0001%, but since 2002, double-digit growth every single month. Not every year, every month. So, and we've seen, haven't we, the growth here it's unbelievable, you guys. So I started my business last July. My first show was July 21st. There were 4 people at the show. And as of yesterday, I'm not exaggerating, if anything, my numbers are low. We have between 500 and 600 people selling. Wow. We've sold over $3 million since that time. So we sold like $1 million the first 6 months, and we're already at $2 million year to date. So more than that. So obviously a couple things. First of all, you're like on the bottom of something huge, and secondly, people love the product. They love what we have to offer. So I always just think it's really neat. And the company, like you think, yeah. Like when they go, you're our family. I'm like, yeah, right. No, we really are. Now that I've been doing this a year, like they treat us just like their family. They They really do. They're just like, once you're in this company, you're family. You know, they think of it as their very own, and they're in 2002 when Shirley and Arthur passed it down to the second generation. Their catalyst for doing so that very year is they lost their oldest granddaughter in a tragic accident. And I tell you that because Scott will talk about it sometimes, because obviously it rocked his world. She was only 19 years old. And if you've ever lost anyone close to you like that in a tragedy, the grandparents, it was their oldest grandchild, and they backed up and they said, you know, our goal when we started this company was to create something that would live beyond us into our children's children, and they go, we've done that. And we've also created wealth and a really nice life for the people that work for us, but we could do more. So they went and saw their accountant, and their accountant said that they could live 900 years at their current rate of living. So they're fine, but they said we're going to take even less. So they only take 2% off the top, and the other 98% goes into the people and into the field. So as we get into some of the programs and you seriously wonder how can they afford to do that, it's because on the average, is it 38%? Mm-hmm. On the average, most direct sales companies put 38% into the field. So if they're putting between 70 and 98% into the field from month to month, that's why we're the highest paid. That's how they can do the hostess program. That's how they can do everything. So hopefully it'll just make you feel good about the company, because it really did me. Now, when you get your starter kits, which you have, in your starter kit is $1,000 worth of jewelry, which is really, really fun. But you're also going to find a whole bunch of training things. Some of this is a little bit of baptism by fire. There's a DVD. It's a little bit dated, but it did help me. You just watch it and you think, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to wear that, you know. But it will really help you. There's a guide to success, which we were just, those of you at home, we were just talking about how Jackie and Megan are both educated as teachers, and so am I. And I think the guide to success is so helpful because it's like, you know, when you would get your teacher guide and then you would teach the lesson. There's an easy guide. It's honestly like, I think it's like 5 pages long, and that's really all you'd ever have to look at, and you would know how to do a show. So there are other avenues to learn. So it's not like everything you don't remember today, or you're like, oh my gosh, don't even worry about it, because there's lots of things you can refer back to. And there's something called the network and the field interface, and we'll kind of go through that in a little bit, but you sign up for the computer, and then you get to go in and look at things every day to see what fun things are going on, what contests are going on, what they're offering for hostesses, stuff like that. So you're always connected, and I'm just a phone call away, and so are other people who are really, really helpful. Okay, then I always go over the objectives of a show. Now, have either of you ever done direct sales before?
Yeah.
Okay, good, we got a yes and a no. Okay, so I always feel like if you've done direct sales before, I don't want to insult your intelligence about this kind of business, but before my last job, I had never done direct sales in my life. All right, so I always feel like it's really important right from the beginning to have you not make the mistakes I made. Okay, so first of all, we really have 3 objectives when we do a show, or throughout our career, what we're doing. We want to sell the product, obviously. We want to book more shows, and we want to recruit. And I even hate that word because it makes me think of like the army or something. So we can't. I like to say hire, sell, book, and hire. Okay? Because here's what's going to happen. When you walk into a show, or your very first show, what do you think you're going to be nervous about? This is what happened to me.
Is anything going to sell?
Yeah, you're going to be nervous about your sales. You're going to be nervous about how many people are there. Are you going to be nervous about the names of things? Nervous about how you're going to do your show? Okay. Now, you know what I'm But that's kind of how I was. You know, I was just really focused on that. So I found like my first few shows that at the end of it, I was so nervous about doing those things right that I maybe didn't pay enough attention to using that form to get additional shows, to using that form to hire other people. So I always want to make sure that you sort of have these things in the back of your mind, okay? So the selling is, I mean, everybody comes with their checkbooks. They know why they're there. So it's almost like we don't really sell. You know, it's like we share information, you know, and we'll talk a little bit about how, is this where I do this now? Wanted, do I need to know that?
I think so.
Okay. I'll go back to that in just a second, and I'm going to go through each of these, sell, book, and recruit, and how you can do a better job with that. But you also always want to be aware that you want to be booking more shows at every show. And we sort of use a little saying like 1 to replace, 2 to grow, 3 to explode. And when we get to the booking part, I'll do like a little visual with you that'll show you how fascinating it is if you go into a show and you make it a goal that you're going to get 2 shows at every show. And then the third one is recruiting or hiring, and I always do a little bit about this too because I had such a bad attitude about that part of my business when I was new. It was terrible. I mean, and you might have it too in your own head right now, but I'm going to try to help you get past that. So let's talk about selling. And what I found, and again, I've been doing this type of business for 15 years. I also used to sell steel. I sold steel for 10 years, and then I was a teacher for 10 more. So those are kind of the perfect integration for this type of business because I sell and I teach. But what I learned really early on with selling is that, and one thing that we train our group to do that I think we're masters at, and what makes us maybe better than other Park Lane or other salespeople, is that people come knowing that they're going to buy some jewelry, generally. Unless their friend said to them, I don't care if you buy anything, just come and drink the wine. That happens. Okay, that's okay, and I'm fine with that. So going in, what you really are is you're providing awesome customer service. So you just want to be the friendliest thing ever from the beginning until the very end of the show. Sometimes people will come to watch me do a show, and they are more worried about me doing the actual jewelry part. And what they don't realize is that the very best salespeople are doing a lot up to that part. You've been to one of my shows, so it's greeting people at the door. It's making the hostess feel really comfortable because she's nervous. You know, it's like you're representing her, and she's almost nervous sometimes about, like, is she going to embarrass me? Imagine how they feel about me. Like, oh, she's going to embarrass me? She's going to say that mother-in-law joke? Oh my gosh, you know. But it's like you want to be like greeting people. You want to be making people really feel comfortable. You want to be visiting with them. And I found that, I mean, the biggest compliment I'll get is when I go, okay, I'm going to do my thing, and someone will go, oh, you're the jewelry lady, you know, we just thought you were one of the people here. I pour wine for people, I do whatever, okay? But one of the things, and if you come to trainings and get onto the different webinars that we offer, you'll learn more and more about this, but I always like to real quick go over like how a really masterful salesperson learns how to turn what they call a want almost into a need. And what I mean by that is people might come into that jewelry show thinking, I want jewelry, maybe. I'll see what they have. You want to almost make that a need jewelry before they leave. And if you're thinking like, what do you need? Okay, here's just a few examples, okay? So as you're doing your jewelry party, and you sort of, at the very beginning, maybe say something like, you know, did you ever hear that they say 85% of your wardrobe budget should be spent on accessories? And they always look at you like, what? And I go, yeah. I go, it includes your shoes and purses, and they'll go, oh, yeah, now, yeah. And I'll say, but I said, you know, apparently last year we were going through this thing called a recession. I chose not to participate, but I heard a lot about it. And the stylist would actually say to us, 85% of your wardrobe budget being accessories will, in the long run, save you a lot of money and keep you on trend. And they said, think about a man when a man dresses professionally for work, or at all, you know. He can wear the same navy blue suit 3 times a week for 10 years. But if he's changing his tie, and his belt, and his shoes, and even his watch, those are the things that we notice, and those are the things that we'll compliment him on, and those are the things that will keep him on trend. So they said, so if women are doing that, you know, if they had the same little black dress from Target, and they change out with a jean jacket, or with a camel sweater, or with a stylish blazer, but they're changing their jewelry, nobody will start to notice the backdrop of that one dress after a while. You know, and just like these, you guys can't see them, but these two are sitting here nodding. That's what happens at the show. Okay, now, backtrack a little. Now you're the salesperson. What did you just do? All right? Now all of a sudden, in their head, and it's true, I'm not like giving them a line, it's true, they're thinking, I don't just want jewelry, I need it. It's going to save me money, and it's going to keep me stylish and on trend. Okay? So those are the types of little blurbs that you want to integrate throughout your show, and you'll learn a lot of them from me. We'll probably do a whole little YouTube on just blurbs, okay? Definitely. But I always like to get that out there, and like, I have a great time doing this, and I hope you will too, but I'm constantly paging through the fashion magazines, you know, watching the Rachel Zoe or whatever, the QVC, getting their words and all that good stuff. So it's really fun because you'll find it'll keep you on kind of with your thumb on the pulse of what's going on in fashion too, and you get to share all that stuff, okay? So let's talk about booking. And I think a really good rule of thumb is to go into every show with a goal to get 3 shows at every show. And I actually can do a visual with you. Okay? I'm going to give Jackie a cup, and I'm going to give Megan a cup. All right? I'm going to put, let's say you both start with 5 shows, which incidentally is a really good way to start. Okay? When I was new at this business, I just remember thinking, I'm going to start with 5 shows, and I'm going to be really aware that I want to go in 5 different directions. You don't want to have like your 5 best friends because they'll all go to each other's show, and then after a while it just kind of implodes. So let's say, like I always tell everyone, if you were starting a dress shop tomorrow and you wanted to get people into the dress shop or to know about it, what would you do? I mean, you'd have a grand opening, right? And you would start with your family and friends, and you would say, invite other people, help me pass the word. So that's like when you have a show, that's like your grand opening. It could be, Megan had indicated to me on the phone her concerns because she's new to the area, she only knows a few people. I'm like, that's okay, because with those few people, we can start somewhere, okay? Jackie had like 15 people at her show, but I don't even know if you knew it, but I knew you were thinking about it. So as I was booking your shows, I was very aware that I wanted to take Jackie in all these different directions. So we had one through her work. We had one through her sister's family. How cool is that? Like her sister's in-law, okay? We had one through your neighborhood. We had one through your, the girl that was in the kitchen. I'm not sure where she was from, Amy. But that was a different, just a friend, yeah. So I was just real aware. You didn't even know I was doing that at the time, did you? But again, I didn't want to take just 5 people from your work, because the other thing that happens if you have one show with everybody from the same place, if one bad thing happens, okay, let's say everybody's from your family, and then God forbid somebody passes away, and they're all going to the funeral, you're like, oh. That was pretty cold-hearted. Or let's say, like, everybody's from your work, and there's just no day. Oh, So you always kind of want to be coaching yourself to be getting people from all these different directions, okay? So anyway, so you got these 2 cups in front of you, and you each have 5 shows. Now the first thing I'm going to do to you is I'm going to take an M&M out of each of your cups because one of those shows canceled. Oh, now you're both down to 4. Now I just did that on purpose because I found the number one thing to help new people with their spirits is to get the cancellation thing out there right away. People cancel. And if you're like me, the first time someone cancels, you'll be like, what? You will be shocked. You will be annoyed. You will call 10 people to tell them. Haven't you got phone calls from your team too? They're like, I can't believe it. I had somebody canceled. And then after 15 years of this, you guys, this is what I do at a new training. There's only 2 of you here today. Sometimes I have 10. Please raise your hand if you've ever canceled anything. Okay, people at home, all of us raise our hand, okay? And we laugh. That's why doctors overbook. That's why airlines overbook, because people cancel. So this is a business, so you kind of want to book cancellations into your calendar right from the get-go and not lose a lot of time or even psychological stuff over cancellations. In fact, I tell this story too. I have to poor Amy, she's heard it a few times, but I'll say, well, I'm pretty sure that the days that the doors of Walmart open for the first time, could you just imagine Sam Walmart standing on a little podium and going, shut the doors, everybody, and they'd be like, Sam, why? My mother isn't here. And yet, when we start this kind of business, if like somebody lets us down, like a sister or a cousin or someone close to us, we take it so personally. Don't let that determine your future. That's ridiculous, And I hope they watch this webinar someday. I have 4 sisters-in-law. Never, any of them have ever even looked at a book, much less had a show. And I'm not talking just this business. I'm talking my other one too for 14 years. Look at it, I get some more mouth is open. People do that, but you know what? It's okay, and you just can't let that stop you because you're running a business here. So I hope that helps when this stuff starts to happen to you. Okay, now we're still sitting here with M&Ms. You've got 4. You've got 4 because we already had a cancellation. Megan gets 1 show at every show, so you still have 4. Jackie gets 2 shows at every show. Jackie now has 8. Cancellation, cancellation. Megan has 3. Jackie has 7. You get a show at every show, you still have 3. You get a show at every show, you have 2 shows at every show, beg your pardon, 14. Get where I'm going with this? Cancellation, you're going to cancel 2. You can afford it. You're down to 2, you have 12. 1 show at every show, you still have 2. 2 shows at every show, you have 24. You see what we did? It starts with 4 shows basically, because we had that cancellation at the beginning, and getting 2 shows at every show. So you just, and then if we kept going, we'd take Megan down to 0, and we would have Jackie at the end of it. She's up to, we were just up to 48 if I did it one more time. Okay? So that's why right from the beginning, good, and I see Megan going, wow, because these are the things I want to teach you or help you with it. I had to have that learning curve. When all of a sudden I went through and went, oh my gosh, I didn't get any shows at those first shows, I wasn't working it. So, you do want to just have it in your head that you want to book at every show. And you won't always. That's the other part of it. Please don't feel discouraged if you don't. You will have shows where you will get no bookings, but you will have shows where you get 6 or 7 bookings. And we are I just can't begin to tell you how much there is to learn and how good we are at this. And if you continue to go to training or keep in the loop or get on calls, there's so much that we can teach you about how you can grow your business, through the phone, through networking, everything. Okay, and then recruiting. I always kind of touch on this really quick because I wasted, you guys, I've done okay, but I wasted like a year of my business because I had such a bad attitude about recruiting. I was like, oh my God. I won't say the name of a company, but there's one out there that starts with an A, and everybody, if they say that name, they're like, oh my God, here they come, run. I was so afraid of being that person that at the family reunion everyone would say, she's going to talk about jewelry, everybody run, Then I went the whole other way, and I never talked about hiring or that people could do what I do or anything. And then I had this little epiphany. I always have to share it because it changed my life. But I was doing a show, and there was a lady in the first row of the show, and she just looked like money. You know how people just look like money? She had lip liner. She just looked really poised and really good and a lot of confidence, jewelry. And she stopped me, and she goes, Marguerite, and she goes, I have just been getting the biggest kick out of you. And she said, I would love to work with somebody like you. And she said, I am a vice president of, and she said, a big company here in St. Louis. If you come in tomorrow, I will hire you. I don't know where, but I will hire you. Will you come in? And you guys, it's honest to gosh, true story. And I'm standing there, and there was 15 people there, and time kind of stood still, And right at that moment, how do you think I felt?
Honored.
Right? Yes, I felt flattered and honored. I didn't want the job because I, already was on this mission of this. It was the other company actually at the time, but I had this little epiphany, and I thought, how is that any different than what I do? I now make, well over a 6-figure income. I have this really awesome thing to offer people. Why would I feel intimidated to offer it to people? I mean, it's their job to say no, but it's my job to flatter them by letting them know I would love to work with them. And everything changed for me after that. And then, if you ever find yourself where you feel like you're trying to convince someone, well, yeah, then you're in the wrong place, because the first 3 words of convince are con. And I'm not going to beg anyone to come and make hundreds of thousands of dollars with me, but I feel really good about offering it to them as a possibility. And I realized that the reason I wasn't recruiting, I wasn't even saying anything. So right from your very first show, if I can convince you, con you, not making the mistakes that I made, especially in this business, because you're the first. And again, poor Amy, she's heard this a million times, but
never gets old.
Really, I use the little McDonald's, because I do a lot of motivational reading and training. The McDonald's brothers came up with this really awesome concept of fast food. They were the very first ones who ever thought of it. And it was a hit. And I don't know how long it took, but before very long at all, they were totally at capacity. They were doing all they could do. They had hired as many people as they could hire. They were open as many hours as they could be open, and they were selling as much as they could sell. Well, in comes this guy named Ray Kroc, and he says, I've been watching you guys, and I have an idea. What if you sold me your secret plan, and I would open your restaurant in other places with your approval and your parameters, and you would make a percentage of every one I opened. And it was the first documented instance of franchising. And the McDonald's brothers got rich, but you know who got really rich? Ray Kroc. Well, the more that I'm in this business, it occurred to me, it's like, okay, I can only do so much. You can only do so much. I could do a certain amount of shows. What could I do? Maybe 3 shows a day. I could do 90 shows a month. Not about to do that. I would be totally exhausted, and that's the most money I could make. It'd be a lot of money. However, because I franchise, and I hire people in Wright City or Winfield, which are 2 different, okay, and train them, they are my franchises. Okay, so you guys are off making the most of the money at the immediate time, but then I'm getting a percentage for having hired you. That's what you want to start doing as soon as you can. And as you get more savvy, which hopefully you're getting there way faster than I did, because we're new at this, I've already got people thinking, now wait a minute, Mary Grace. Nobody has had a big, a significant presence in Park Lane, in the Midwest, since 20 years ago. So I have relatives in Oklahoma. I'm going to call and, yeah, now you're getting it. I have relatives, yeah, okay. So you just want to have your little head spinning, so really, right now, because that's what's about to happen for you. You know, and then you have people selling in different places too, and that's going to pay you dividends for the rest of your life. So really cool. So enough about that. Okay, now, all of the ways that Park Lane helps us support selling, booking, and recruiting. And the first one is, let's open our little folders here and take out this customer sale. You also can take out this one. It's called the 5-star hostess plan. Oh, I'm messing you up, Amy, because you've got the, never mind, just look at the customer sale. You guys can cheat and look at this too. Okay, but this blew me away when I went up to interview again, because, and I say this right at shows, I'll say, if you've ever been to any kind of show in your whole entire life, who normally is the biggest beneficiary? The hostess, right? And it's still true with Park Lane. However, never in a million years saw anything where they do something so phenomenal for the guests. And I know, Jackie, like your friends would talk about all the time, it's the coolest thing. Megan hasn't seen it in action yet. But basically the way that it works is we have 3 different price levels. At level 1, if they choose to spend between $30 and $59 in regular price items, then they get to go back and get anything they want up to what they spent for $12. Now, girls have come up with all these really cool different ways to, like this is a cheat sheet. We make them for you. You can copy them, you can rip them in half and put one in every book. It's just a little cheat sheet, because 78% of people are visual learners, so if you just talk about this buying program, they won't get it, okay? But I've learned a couple things that help. One, we have a division manager in our group named Lisa Adams, and she starts every show with a little roll of jewelry that will illustrate this plan, okay? And after we go through the levels, I'll tell you how she does that. Okay, level 2, if you choose to spend between $60 and $89, then you get to go back and get any 2 items for $12, and we throw in a third totally free. Level 3, if you spend $90 or over, then we throw in 3 items for $12 and a fourth for free. Now, I will look out at my crowd and say, you're all looking at me like you get it, but you really don't. And they'll go, you're right. And here's something I've come up with. I go, for some reason I think it works better if you use another store. So I'll ask, like, what's a store that y'all go to around here? You know, because remember, I've been to Omaha and not Utah yet. We gotta get Utah. Iowa, stuff like that. But I'll say, what's a big store around here? And Dillard seems to be everywhere. So I'll go, okay. So picture you go up to the counter at Dillard's. You put a few items up there, and they go, okay, Megan, that comes to $48. You're in level 1. $48. So now you get to go back through Dillard's and pick any item that you want that's $48 or less for $12. Get it? Okay. Level 2, Dillard's scenario. You go up, you put a bunch of items on the shelf. It comes to $75. Go back through Dillard's, pick any 3 items, each $75 or less. 1 for $12, 1 for $12, 1 for free. Now see, what's happening is we're adding items, but we're also adding tremendous value. Because I think, we've done this before, but I think at the first level, you'll save like 30 to 40%. The second level is like 70%. And at level 3, it can be 100% savings sometimes. Okay, so it's really cool. Then level 3, 90 or over, Again, just make sure that you went up there and you put $100 worth of stuff up there, and then you get to go get 4 $100 items for $12, $12, $12 free. Now you guys are going to see this visual. It's very simple, but it works like a charm. So I've got my left hand up for people at home, and I go, okay, let's say you're in the mood to do some shopping. All right, so you go, I'm going to buy 5 $20 presents, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. You just spent $100. Now it's time to shop for yourself. $100 necklace, 12. $100 other thing, 12. $100 other thing, 12. Fourth $100 thing, free. That's the one you can give your mother-in-law. She thinks she spent $100 and it was free. Okay, so now you just spent $136 for $500 worth of stuff. Get it? Back to Lisa Adams. She starts with a roll. She goes, let me illustrate. She rolls out this roll of jewelry that she has perfectly figured out. And she'll say, okay, you're going to buy your earrings for $29. You're going to buy this $25 bracelet, and you're going to buy, what am I up to, 50? You're going to buy this $50 necklace. You just spend $100. Now, see this $100 thing? 12. This $100 thing? 12. This gorgeous $100 necklace? 12. And this most expensive one of all? Free. And they go, holy cow, and she does the retail, and that's what you want to do on your order form. We call it order conditioning. So when they're checking out, you'll say, okay, you just got $385 worth of jewelry for $136. You saved, and you circle it, and then even go one more step. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items. They came out to $15 a piece. And it's so visual, and people just go, oh my gosh, that's nuts. Okay? See, Megan's never heard of it before, so she's going, holy cow. So that's how they support us with the, and just so you know, every so often, I haven't figured out the exact patterns yet, but every so often Scott will throw in, it's our CEO, free at the level 1 too. Like we've had it for the last 2 weeks, it ends today. But that's really cool, because then they can get a free at that level as well. Okay, so very fun. He'll add to things, he never takes away. All right, so that's how we support our customers. What do you think the average order is in Park Lane, based on our customer order sale?
At least 100.
It's 100. It's $100. All right. Now, do you see, if you're meeting with one person and you get one order, and you're making at the entry level, you're making 30%. So you saw me bringing in those 12 orders. Okay. You're making $30, $33 an order. Get it? Okay. Keep that in mind as we go to the hostess program. Now, it's called the 5-Star Hostess Program. This has been the same for 56 years. Again, they will add to it, but they will never take away, all right? Okay, and this is kind of fun, you guys, to even, Scott taught me this. He said the number one thing that he feels revolutionized his business when he started, because he did what we do. He started as a salesperson. He built a multi-million-dollar business in 1 year at the age of 23. Isn't that incredible? And his mom was meaner to him. We have to recruit one person to get a promotion. He had to recruit 20. She did these mean things to him. Okay, like I do to my kids. Okay, the first star is when somebody has, let me backtrack. What he taught me is whenever you can, you already have some shows on your calendar, ideally make a little appointment with them. Say, I want to come and sit down and just go over the hostess program with you before I even get there. And they will have goals then, and they will understand the hostess program, and it will also teach it to you better. It's really cool. Okay, so star number 1. If somebody gets their guest list back to you within 3 days of booking their party, and you just send them a little email, we'll go about the mechanics of stuff later, but you send them a little email and it says, please prepare your guest list. If they send it back within 3 days, then they get a thank you gift. And it's a choice of all these different things. We also have a little one that's a visual where you can show them the pictures. It's on there, we'll show you later. And they go through and it's I already know the best values, the Venice bracelet's normally 102. Yeah, there it is. It looks like that. And you just go pick one of these, and you get any one of these for $14 just for getting your guest list back to me. Now, just between us, because we're reps now, Park Lane has no way to know if they really did that. Jackie, you invited everybody on Facebook, but we always can offer them that. But use it to your advantage, because that's how it was invented, was how can we help these people? Normally, if you have a guest list, remember that cancellation thing? It's not going to happen. Okay, so it's kind of a way just to cement your show. So, and they're excited. So at the very night when they're so excited, if you send them that email right away and they get their guest list back to you in 3 days and you get the invitations out that fast, everybody's excited, everybody's going to do it. Okay, so use that. Okay, star number 2. You guys, you're going to love this. You get $20 free per order. Per order. So it doesn't matter how much your friends spend. You're still going to get $20 free per order. Isn't that cool? However, now this isn't written here, because remember how I said this has been the same for 56 years? He adds to it, he never takes away. And here's what's going on now. It's been going on for 2 years. They swear he'll never take it away, because they've had their most profitable years ever. When we get 10 orders, we double it. Then it's look at Megan. Then it's $40 free per order. Okay, so, and Jackie's seen me do it. You'll see me do it too, Megan. This is what I'll say to people. I'll look at someone. You know what? I'll almost purposely look at someone in the crowd that I think would never have a show. Now there's always a crabby face or something. I'll look at them and I'll go, now let me just ask you. I'm not saying you have to, but let me just ask you. You don't have a crabby face, Megan, but I'm looking at you. Do you think you could go get 10 $20 orders? They do. Jackie saw it happen the other day. They go, I guess, and I'm like, seriously, like if I told you you had it, could you go get 10 $20 orders? And they're like, yeah. And I go, that would mean you would get $400 free, plus the thank you gift. And they're like, holy cow! It's a 10 $20 orders is a $200 show. So getting your $400 free plus your $100 thank you gift, that's like 250% hostess credit. Right? It's insane. That's what we do though. Okay? So that's really cool. However, now that you guys are on the other side of the line, the fashion director side, what did we just say? Really, it's not going to be 10 $20 orders. It's going to be 10 $100 orders, because then the customer's going, well, wait a minute. I want the deals, you know. So it's really cool, but it gets you in the door there, which is really neat. Okay? And one of the objections that you'll get sometimes is, oh gosh, I hate to ask people to spend money. I hate to ask people to my house to spend money. That people say that all the time about having shows. I didn't come up with these words, you guys. My customers did. Now I repeat them. Very first show I did, this girl goes, you know what? I never have shows. I'm doing this because I feel like I'm inviting my friends to a really cool sale. Because of this. Because of the customer buying program. That's how they feel. It's almost like when you go into Nordstrom and you leave and you go, oh my gosh, you got to get your butt over there. They're having like 80% off. That's how people feel about what we're offering. So it's really cool. Then when they get to 10 orders, you see this little bracelet pictured here? Okay, they get that David Yurman inspired, we might want to flip back to that. They get that David Yurman inspired bracelet. And you tell women that that's the only, I got you a clear one, by the way. I picked it for you. But that bracelet, that David Yurman bracelet in real life is like $750. So you show a bunch of girls that that's a way they can get something like that, they'll go for the 10 orders for that. Okay. Half price privileges, they get 4 items for half price at their show, above and beyond everything else that we've said. And they get 4 hostess only items. And you know, like with most companies, you'll be like, what's your hostess special for January? With us, it's really cool. A couple things. First of all, let me just go back here a little bit. If you've ever done any kind of show, have you ever heard anybody ask, like, when do you do double hostess credit? Mm-hmm. Okay, in Party Light, we used to do it like January, whatever. When does Park Lane do double hostess credit? Every month, every day, at 10 orders. How awesome, right? The other thing is the hostess only. Our hostess only is in the back of the book. So it's not like they have to wait for a certain month to get the thing that they want. They're there, and they just, you know, pick what they want, and they're there for them. So, and they're valued at like 70% off, you know, so they can buy them at this phenomenal price. Then listen to the booking program. Okay, so you just did your show and you got your 10 orders, okay? If your hostess gets, at her first booking, she gets to go to that show and get $50 worth of jewelry for $5. At the second show, she gets to go to that show and get $50 worth of jewelry for $5. At the third show, she gets to go to that show and get $100 worth of jewelry for $10. Now, how brilliant is that? Back to the cancellation thing, what do you think is the most common cancellation? The one furthest out, the third one? You think the host is going to let that girl cancel? I don't think so. I'm going to get my $100 worth of stuff that night, you know, so she's kind of on our side there, which is really cool. And then it starts over. So, you know, if you got 6 bookings, she gets to do it again, 50, 50, another 100. It just keeps going. It's phenomenal. I love this because whereas people might say, it's great that we got all these shows, but now I have to go to all these shows and spend money. Now they go, I get to go to all these shows and get more free stuff. It just keeps giving. It's really, really cool. And then we have a 3 booking gift program. So if they get 3 bookings at their show, not only do they get an additional $200 of jewelry for $20, but they also can get one of our 3 booking rings or that 3 booking watch, or one that's not listed here but been going on for a while is we have this thing called Get Up and Go. It's worked tremendously for me. And they literally get like a free vacation. So you have to put in for it after all 3 shows have been held, but they get free lodging, 2 nights and 3 days at a place of their choice. It's like 27 different options, one of which, since we live here in Missouri, is great. It's Branson. So I'll say you have to get yourself there, but you get a free vacation. I don't even know how many of them really go on the vacation, but when they say it at a show, their friends are like, okay, I'll help her get her free vacation. And they've done some really cute things, like the 4 of us will go for girls' weekend. And then again, my customers came up with this, not me. One of them goes, Mary Grace, Sabrina got 3 shows at her show, and I got 3 shows at mine. So we're gonna go together and get 4 nights and stay with each other. So brilliant. Okay, so be sure to use that Get Up and Go. It works like a charm. Right now, above and beyond all of this that's printed here, you're not going to believe this. Above and beyond all of this, we also get, let's see, every single fashion director. I guess they're not in. Oh, the HRC. Oh, no, you got one. Okay, this is how they used to look, and now they look like this. And you don't have to have the visual, you just have to know about this, but every single show that you do, you are allowed to give the hostess another $100 worth of stuff for $10. Every single show, you guys. And the idea is that you use them to grow your business. So we call them HRC, it stands for Hostess Reward Certificate, and we can do it like as 50s of 5. So let's say, all right, first of all, I was the first one in the area. I was starting this business. I was lazy. Here's what I said. Jackie, I'm not even at your house yet, and I can already guarantee you $100 worth of jewelry for $10. That's what I did with them. Okay? Then the rest of this would kick in. Okay? This is what you might want to do. You use them to solve your problems. So if you say to yourself, I want a booking at every single show. So you say to your hostess, I'll tell you what, if you have a booking before I get there, I'll give you another $50 worth of jewelry for $5 on top of everything else you're going to get. Or I'll tell you what, if you get to the 10 orders, I'll give you another $50 worth of stuff for $5. So if you get it, you get to kind of swing them around like you got it all, okay? But it's really Park Lane behind us doing that. All right. So just know it's not printed anywhere, so they don't know you could do it. It just makes you look like the most wonderful girl in the world. Okay. Now, this is something that Scott will change during maybe what they call more retail challenging times. Okay, my favorite, I hope he does it this year. Last year, between December 22nd and January 5th, he did 250 for $25. So I could say to someone, I'm not even at your house yet, and I can guarantee you $250 worth of jewelry for $25. And they're like, holy cow. I mean, I never had shows and sales like that during that time of the year. Wow. Yeah. And now, imagine you guys when this all kicked in too. Because they would get people there. They'd get their 10 orders, and then they were getting 100, another 400, the 250. They were getting like thousands of dollars in free jewelry for having it that time of the year. Okay? So he gives us all kinds of tools that he'll be like, okay, 150 in HRCs for July, or 150. So, and we keep you up to speed, and that field interface does, but it's just really, really cool ways to make your business just grow and go. Isn't it also fun? Isn't it fun? Okay, now I want you to just open to keep open to this for a second. Your 5-star hostess program. Because we're going to talk a little bit about how we get paid. And as fashion directors, we get paid on what they call net and non. All right? Net is what people pay in regular price. Non is the $12 items. Okay? So we get paid on the net. So in general, the average order is $100. That's what we're gonna get paid on. And we're gonna talk about the profit in just a little bit more in depth, but I just wanna point something out to you. Half price items are net. So when a hostess buys your half price items, you get paid on those, alright? And they go into your show total, okay? So when somebody's like let's say you're meeting somebody for a one-on-one. It's gonna make you a little bit dizzy for a second, but I wanna make sure you get your head around it real fast, because we do one-on-ones and stuff. So you just have one girl there with you, and you're just like showing her the jewelry or showing her the new stuff. And incidentally, this is a great training tool for new people. One of the girls that started with me, Danielle Napier, she'd be the first to admit she knew nothing about fashion, wasn't her thing at all. She goes, I want to do what you're doing, but I can't believe you picked jewelry. I'm really mad at you, you know. But she's learned so much, you should see her now. But she started with one-on-ones. And what she did was she made this whole list of people, and you guys will come up with them too, that she just felt were really stylish. She goes, I don't even know if it was jewelry. They just struck me as stylish, you know. And she would call them and she would compliment them. And she would say, Jackie, you're somebody that's always just struck me as really stylish. I've started a new business. I'm really excited about it, but I would like your opinion. If you meet me for a cup of coffee, I'll buy you a cup of coffee, I'll buy you a roll, and I want to show you what I'm doing. And they'd say, sure. Okay, so they'd meet her in Starbucks or whatever. And she would bring like 3 little rolls of jewelry. And as she unrolled the first, she would say, now tell me what you think about this customer buying program. And she'd go over that. And they would say, oh my gosh. And she'd say, I know. And then she would show them the jewelry, and they'd be going crazy over the jewelry. She'd give them a wish list. They'd be writing things they loved. And she'd roll it back up. Now tell me what you think about the hostess program. And she would do what we just did here, okay? And they'd go, oh my gosh. And she'd say, I know. She said if she ever got to name her group, she was going to name it the I know, you know. And they would, and then she would, the last thing, now tell me what you think about the, what we get, fashion directors, okay? Every single one of those turned into something. She said most of them turned into shows or new directors. Amy that's sitting right here. That's how she got Amy. Yeah, but, and she also got lots of really good ideas, and she also got a really good feedback about the jewelry, okay? Well, if you're sitting there at a one-on-one, and they just want to place an order, they generally are going to go to that $100 level, because they want all the other stuff too. Well, a show in Park Lane, to be considered a show, it's $200 net, okay? So basically $200 orders or whatever. You can put in anything. If someone gives you a $50 order, you can put it in the computer and you'll still get paid, okay? But before all of this hostess stuff kicks in for somebody, it's $200. So let's say you're sitting there with a girl or two, and it's like at 150 or 100, and then you just throw it out there and you go, you know what? You want any items for half price? And they go, oh, can I? Sure. Go ahead. I'll let you get up to 4 of them. All right? That goes into net. So that $100 net order, let's say she buys $200 worth of half price items and spends another $100, that just turned into a $200 show. And now you can say to her, now you can get this too, and you can get this, and you can get the hostess only. So it's kind of backwards. A whole show could be all half price items. Okay? And we get paid on those. So in my old life, at my old company, we didn't get paid on half price items. So honestly, I was kind of lackadaisical about even offering that, because to tell you the truth, I hated to see my hostess spend money. Because I didn't want her going out there going, well, I had the show, but I still spent, okay? Now, generally, like Jackie the other night, she picked out her, whatever it was, $700 of free stuff. She had no interest in any half price items, okay? So that's when I could say to your sister, which I should have, do you want a half price item? Do you? So now I'll do it right in front of people.
Oh, okay.
So do that, okay? Offer them to the other people at the show, because it's going to up your income. That sounds kind of bad. Up your income. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you knew right from the get-go that net is the half price items as well, because that will increase your sales. And since we're talking about net and non, anything to do with money is based on net. So our pay is based on net sales. However, when we get into some of the programs later, or where you can pick up free jewelry, or when we talk about how you can earn trips, that's net plus non. So a $200 net show probably has quite a few $12 items in there, and it's going to transfer into like a $300 net plus non. And are you dizzy, or you kind of get where I'm going with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a $200 net show could be like $300 300 trip points or 300 points towards free jewelry or whatever. So they give us that, which is really cool. Okay. There you go.
Referral rewards?
Yeah, let's go into recruiting. And then the way that they support us in recruiting at every show. So I've basically just gone over our basic programs. Do you get where I'm going with all this? Okay. And with recruiting, what they have is they have these referral awards. Do you guys have those in there? Okay. Any of this stuff too, like you can print it off the field interface. Okay, I'll get you some. You know what I did? I took a huge pile of them to my event last night, and I don't have them up here, but they look like this. And basically, Park Lane will give anybody $100 worth of free jewelry who refers somebody to you, and they start. Okay. So, and you know, shame on me, I have not used these the way that I should. So, but I'm going to do it at your show, Megan, because I've got to get on the bandwagon. And again, this is something that Scott taught me. Actually, I got to sit next to him at dinner one night, and it's like I'm taking notes in my head. Luckily, I have a good memory. But he said at every show, he'll give out 3 of these, and he'll say, "Oh my gosh, I've got the best news. Park Lane has, what's the word I'm looking for? Authorized. Park Lane has authorized me to give each of you, if you want, $300 worth of free jewelry." He gives 3 to every gift. And they're like, "What?" And he goes, "I know." And he said, especially if you can say, you know, we're looking to expand in the Wright City area, we're looking to expand in this area, we're looking for people to sell our product. It could be someone who just loves jewelry and would want it for her own use. It could be somebody who's just really stylish and just loves jewelry, and it could be an empty nester that's looking for something to do. Anyone who needs money, and we all do. But if you refer somebody, and I call them, and they decide to sell Park Lane, you get $100 of free jewelry. And you can refer yourself. Now, that has worked really cool for me because people that I maybe didn't know were sort of thinking about it will write down their own name. Okay, so, and then all we do is send in the form after the person does, and Park Lane, they get to pick up their $100 of free jewelry, and Park Lane sends it right to them. So that's just another thing they give us to help us back up our business and to help us do the whole recruiting thing, which is really cool. Also, of course, the other thing that they give us is the $5 kit. Unheard of in the industry, absolutely unheard of. They get a $1,000 kit for $5. It's the only company I've ever heard of in my whole entire life that not only gives you a kit, but gives you the same exact hostess reward. So Jackie will, Megan's going to sneeze, you guys. Jackie had her show. You got to pick out, it was $800 or something by the time we did. Okay, $700 of free stuff. Plus, you just got your kit, so that's $1,700 worth of free jewelry. I think your shows were the first 500 net. They consider us all even. They don't pay me, they don't pay you. Instead, you get your kit. But every dollar over that, you get a paycheck. So her net was $800 or $900. So she's going to get 30% of the difference. So she's going to get, it was like $107. We figured it out. She made $107.
Wow.
So, you know, at the end of her show, I could say to her, "Jackie, how did this hurt you?" Yeah, it's like, how did this hurt you? And when we get into the Superstar program, you're going to see you still get more. So it's like, it's not, and when you can just with all sincerity say that to people that are thinking about it, you know, it's like you're going to probably get a paycheck at your very first night. You know, it's pretty cool. And it's very cool for husbands and stuff because right away they see a paycheck, they're like, "You go, girl."
Yeah.
You know, very, very cool. So that's really fun. Okay? So, is this the mock show part?
I think so.
Oh, we're going to talk about the compensation plan first. Oh my God, take out the money mountain. It makes you kind of dizzy. I call it the money mountain because you go up and up and up. And I'm not willing to make you dizzy with this whole thing because the first time I looked at it, I'm like, okay, well, you know, my fate has already been sealed. I already took this job. Nope. I already took this job, and there's no going back, and I can't understand this. That's how I felt. So let me just help you understand the basics, okay? All of us start at the bottom. I mean, no, not all of us start at the bottom. I'm going to tell you that too. Let me just get this right out there. Park Lane is the only direct sales company that I know of, I'm pretty sure they're the only one, that actually treat us like another business, which means they will reward us for our experience, okay? I was the highest level that you could be at Party Light. I was their number 9 income earner. I certainly wasn't about to start over at the bottom anyplace else, okay? So I was able to get hired in with a title that was commensurate with my experience. Not with pay, I had but a title. So that was really cool. So what I want to tell you about that is you may run across or know people that sell other products that you might want to get them in touch with me to just say, you may have a really neat opportunity here. And then you would get what they call a referral on that individual, and then for the rest of your life you could make 2% of everything they do. But chances are they're going to be huge go-getters, and that's a really cool type of person to get on your team, okay? All right, but most of us start down here at 30%. Okay, so you start at 30% of net, all right? It could take you a year, it could take you a week, it could take you a month, but once you hit $5,000 in sales, net, you get a raise, and you go to 32%. But nobody does that, I'll tell you why, because we do this instead. Go up to that very next box where it says 35%. It's almost like, and it says branch director, it's almost like I don't give people a choice. I have 100% of my fashion directors go to branch right away. Because here's what happens. You bring in one person, which you already have, Becky. You bring in one person, and you get a raise. 35% on your shows for the rest of your life. That one person could come in, do a couple shows, never do another thing, but you never go backwards. You never go backwards. You will always make 35% on your own shows. And I always tell everyone, I'm like, where in this economy do you know of anyone getting a 5% raise? Okay? And just to transfer it into money for you, an average show is $500. A 5% raise is $25. Now, let's say you do 2 shows a week, that's $50 a week, that's $200 a month. That's groceries, some car payments, So I'm like, my gosh, get on it right away. I'm like, pay now, play later. And all you have to do is get them to me, or if you're long distance, get them to your leader, because that was something else that held me back about recruiting when I was new. I used to think, my gosh, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not about to bring somebody. Don't worry, because we do, and we treat them just like we would treat you. Totally honest, the money you're going to make on your team at this level is minimal. It's one person, it's hit or miss. So you're doing that for your raise on your own self, okay? However, what all of us do is we skip over region, and we do an arrow right over here to area. See where it says area manager? Starts with 40 to 50% commission. It says area manager. And we have like a record for promoting people to this because I believe in it. I want to see you making 40 to 50% on your shows. You guys, I can't begin to tell you how much money that is. Sometimes I make $16,000, $17,000, $2,000 a week just on my shows. And this is what you are capable of. It's got nothing to do with me having this huge team or anything, and that's what everybody always thinks about me. I'm like, no. Just think about on your own shows if we get you to that level where you're making 50% on your own shows. It's unbelievable. Like your show the other night, I would have made $450. Thanks a lot. No, just kidding. But, that's a lot of money in 2 hours, right? For a fun evening, okay? So, and the way you get to that is once you become a branch and you have one person, then you just have to take a 2-month time frame. So a lot of girls are doing it now. They're like, I'm doing October, November. And over those 2 months, you need to bring in 5 more people. And you need to do 10 shows. You could do 7 and 3. You could do 5 and 5. You could do 0 and 10. But over that 2-month time frame, you need to do 10 shows. How much is a show? $200 net. Okay? So, I hate to say it on tape, but, we finagle sometimes or whatever. All right? So, let's say you had an $800 show, and you're like, and I really want to see you actually do the shows, because I want to see you make the money. Ideally, I want you to have 10 shows. But if you're 1 show away, and you could take that $800 show and split it in 2 or something, that's what we would do, right? Okay. All right, so first, that's that. So, 10 shows in 2 months is nothing, really. Most people say they want to do 2 a week, and that's 8 in a month. But, okay, the 5 people, they don't have to all come personally from you, okay? Only 2 of them do. So, for example, when I get doing this training with Becky, what do you think I'm going to be telling her, Jackie? You need to go for branch. Becky's going to do that. They all do, okay? So every person you bring in is going to bring in 1, because they're going for this. And I work with them on it. We all work with them on it. So now imagine Becky brings in 1. Now what if that girl right away brings in 1? What did you just add to your team? Becky made you the branch, but you just added 2 more. Okay, another girl's doing the same thing. This is over a 2-month time frame. It happens very quickly when you're focused on it. And then again, and this is something if you've been in direct sales before is not typical, you will never go backwards. For the rest of your life, your whole team could fall apart and you still will always make 40 to 50% on your shows. Always. So the 40% is a given, and the 50% is like you get a 10% bonus if you can read through that later, but it's like if 8 people are working or whatever. Also, just to give you a little take on it, whenever you see PV, that means personal volume, GV means group volume, okay? So let's say you have your 5 people on your team, all right? You have 5 people on your team, and, well, let's say you have 10 now, because you got to this, and they're all whatever, okay? Just imagine, Jackie, every time one of those new people are out doing a show, you're making 10% of what they did. So when you go and do your first owned show, okay, if I was at this level, and you go in and you do an $800 show like you did for yourself, 10% of that is $80. I am somewhere, God knows where, making $80 from Jackie's show. Now imagine that 10 times, okay? So that's called working smarter, not harder, and that's why the recruiting is really cool, you know, and you're making money all over the place. And that's why I can't even begin to fathom to you that being at the bottom of this thing, you may not want to work, you know, you might not want to do 5 shows a month for the rest of your life, but I'm like, let's just see what happens if we take these first 3 or 4 months to do this. Because I think you'll have a legacy and an income for the rest of your life that you won't even believe. And 30 years from now, you'll still make 50% on your show because of what you did in these next few months. I think that's really cool. You know, I love that. I love to offer that to people. So we all do it really fast. It's really fun. Okay, where are we now? How am I doing I'm doing pretty good on time.
You are. The show.
Yes, the show. And I don't, actually, Jackie saw me do a show, Megan's gonna see me do a show, all of you girls on the webinar, you know, we're gonna put a YouTube show on our Park Lane face page or whatever the name of it is, the Facebook page. You will see a show, but I'm just gonna give you a little bit of, just some important things about a show. I think Park Lane invented this, it's absolutely brilliant, but we do what we call the roller method, okay? We roll out a collection at a time. You've seen me do it a few times. I was one of those people in the beginning that I was kind of cocky and I thought, oh, I probably won't do it that way, but you should do it that way. You know what, you just gave me a reminder. Could you go to that? Mm-hmm. The first thing I do when I go into a show, okay, I am, you know, I call my hostess a couple times before the show and they feel like you're friends at that point. But when I go into a show, I'm at the most 5 or 10 minutes early. Do you know why? Do you know why I'm not too early? I'll tell you, a couple reasons. First of all, it's annoying to the hostess, because they're usually working to the last minute, and then they feel like they have to entertain you. If you do get there early, help them out a lot. Secondly, it's just a non-verbal advertisement for the job. You know, you walk in with your little bag 5 or 10 minutes before it starts. That's all you have to do. Okay? I put my black tablecloth out on whatever table she has there for me, and I put out wish lists. That's all I do. Hide your books. Nobody gets to see books. Put out those little pink wish lists and pens. That's all I do. Have everybody sign. I try to remember to do this all the time, but I'll say, you know, if you fill out that side with all your information, then I never have to bug you for your information again. You know, whether you're going to buy or not buy, at least then I'll have your information. I'm not a stalker, I promise. We'll just need that for some of your stuff. And they're like, okay. Then they have that all filled out. Okay. Then, as I begin the show, and again, I almost try to get away from the word show. We like to say private appointment or personal showing. And that will really get you more shows because people feel like intimidated. Like a couple people, Jackie had 15 people at her show. They see what they see, and that's how they think it has to be. So to the side, when I'm able to say, you know, this is a great show and I love it, but it's a little overwhelming. Really wasn't, but 2 or 3 people around the kitchen table is it, you know, and you're still going to get all this good stuff. And they're like, really? Because they feel like losers if they don't have as many friends as their friend or whatever, you know. So I'm like, no, and I go, almost preferable. I go, I just want to get the jewelry on people one person at a time, whatever it takes. Just makes them feel more comfortable. And I'll tell you what, a lot of times that will get them to feel comfortable enough to schedule one, but then a lot of times it is 8 or 9 or 10 people, okay? But that's just a really good thing. I just wanted to kind of take you back to that. So I put the wish list out, and then I tell them, I go, okay, now if everybody would just gather around, ideally, I love to have them all sitting around a table, including me. It's even a psychological thing, because some of people, when they start this business, are a little bit shy, or they don't want to do a huge presentation. If you're just sitting with them, visiting with them, it feels so comfortable, okay? So ideally, sometimes you're going to have a venue where there's too many people. Then I'll just do like a coffee table or a card table, and I sit down a lot though. I'll pull a chair and I'll sit down, because again, it's a psychological thing. For them too, they like it. Give everybody a wish list. Then you go, I am going to start unrolling, and that's when I go over the guest buying plan. Okay? I say it to everybody. I do the Dillard's thing, Lisa does her thing, whatever you decide to do. Okay, I talk to that. That's when maybe I start to engage the crowd a little bit, and I tell some of the things that I just told you, 85%. People take notes all the time. The other stuff I study up and learn. Okay, so you guys will learn some other things to say, but there's really cool and fun things to say. And then I'll start to roll out the jewelry, a collection at a time. And it's so cool because very quickly, like when I first started doing this job, I almost felt like I wasn't doing my job, because in my other business I was more of an entertainer. And then very quickly the attention is off of you and onto the jewelry. Okay, so as you're unrolling it, you'll learn some of the names. If you don't remember all the names, don't even worry about it. You'll just say, this twinkly thing. Everyone write down twinkly thing, and we'll revisit it later. And to tell you the truth, I don't do it on purpose, but I am kind of a tit sometimes. I think it's a great recruiting thing, because they're like, man, she's not even that good. I can do this. It really, really works. It helps. So don't get too caught up in that, but just say, oh my gosh, write down heart with key. Or that's what you have on. That's called key to my heart. Okay. But you start to unroll. Critical, critical, critical. Okay, and I had heard in the beginning that some girls weren't doing this, and I understand that. It's real easy for me. I'm so laid back. I'm careless. My husband could kill me half the time. But some girls are like, no, this is my jewelry, and I really want to take good care of it. But you're making a huge mistake if you don't put it on people. You have to put it on people. Because I'll tell you, a few things will happen. Number one, they take ownership of it once it's on them. Number two, well, what else happens? You're nodding. What happens?
I wouldn't have bought this unless you put it on.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so big.
And it wasn't just me telling you that, though.
Right.
Who
And
else
everybody
was?
else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now I hope you thought I was sincere, but normally people are going to say, well, of course Mary Grace is saying that looks cute. She's the salesperson. But like Jackie said, and Jackie has floral frost on for you viewers at home, when I put floral frost on Jackie, everybody at her show goes, oh my gosh, Jackie, you can't pay people to do that for you. They're selling your product then, and they're saying, Jackie, you need to get that. So that's another reason you want to put things on people. Also, every show I'll say, you know what, you guys, obviously, I had no idea what you were going to be wearing when I got here. No idea. And that's really what the stylist told me. That's how you're supposed to do your jewelry. And I said, I used to do it wrong. I would be in line, buying my shirt, waiting. That's why they keep the jewelry at the counter. And I would buy the jewelry to go with that outfit. And every time I wore that outfit, I wore that jewelry, right? And they're like, ideally, put your clothes on first, and then put on your jewelry. And that's how you're mixing it up all the time. So if I'm saying that to people as they put the jewelry on them, again, remember the want into the need? Get it? Okay, that's happening again. That's when we start to give them little fashion hips. And nobody wants more hips. Fashion tips, too. So I might say, and you kind of get a feel for this, but just make sure they're comfortable with that. Don't, I may have done this if I haven't heard someone warn me against it, but I went up to a training in Chicago once, and they said, oh my gosh, don't ever, manhandle people or right as they come in the door put jewelry on them, because they don't like that. They're like, whoa, I don't even know you, get out of my space, So it's more like after you've visited and stuff like that, okay? So then you're like, Jackie, do you mind being my model for a second? And kind of let them and there are people that'll go, I don't want you. And I'm like, that's okay. Megan, would you? Or I'll use makeup, but that's when it's fun to put a long necklace on someone. Possibilities, you don't know yet what I'm talking about, but Verona, whatever. And I'll go, now I want to show you something that just happened here. And I'll say, a lot of times I'll meet girls, especially plus size women, and they'll go, don't put a long necklace on me. I don't want to draw attention to this part of my body, the widest part of their body. And I'll say, I want to show you what I learned, though, what happens. is when you wear a long necklace, it draws the eye down. It makes you look taller, it elongates, so I love that because I'm short. And it takes off 10 to 15 pounds from side to side. Now, everyone in my show always goes, I'll take 7, and that's really fun, and I'll go, yeah, I'll get 5 of the same, 12, 12, 12, 3, and they're like, oh my god, you're always on. But then all of a sudden, again, you just turn to 1 to a need. But do you see how, as you're putting people's jewelry on them, you're also maybe giving them some fashion tips. You're also engaging them, okay? That's another reason that the roller method is brilliant. Because otherwise it just kind of looks like a garage sale and they just, but, and again, they wouldn't even pick something to put it on. I very often will take something crystallized with crystals, I'll put it against someone's skin and I'll say, now watch, and they'll go, and I'll go, this is part of what the artisans have learned and know that we don't know and why it looks so different in the book. The skin, in the warmth of the skin, is designed to bring out the bling, and it comes to life against skin, and again, there'll be pieces, Sevilla, you guys gotta do it, Sevilla, it's, they never would have looked twice at it, but once it's against the skin, it's like, oh my gosh, so, it works really well, even when people say, like, can I have a book show? And I'll say, you are more than welcome to have a book show because it's no work for me. But I'll tell you what, you saw what happened when we put the jewelry on people. It doesn't do them justice. I'll run up with, who wants to order? Well, the people at my work. I'll run up with my little bag. Are you allowed to have people at lunchtime? Well, no. Are you allowed to take that? No. Do you have like a little place, like for happy hour right there? We do. I'll buy a couple appetizers. I'll meet you there at 5 o'clock. You would do that? I'm like, sure. But where there's people, there's possibilities. So, and remember with where you guys are on the bottom of this thing, you want to get it on the people. So, whatever it takes. Alright, so you want to do that. Okay, so that's kind of how you use the roller method to engage the crowd. A little trick that I do is, and people do all different, and you have to find what's comfortable for you, but I always bring out the rings at the end, almost as a surprise, because it's like a treasure chest. And I'll go, and now the rings. And I found that women just go gaga over jewelry, they love jewelry, but if there's anyone that's like really into something big, it's rings. So they just go nuts and they start trying on the rings and all that good stuff, and it's just kind of a really fun way to, and I do it like a mosh pit. I'm like, dive in, And that's when I'll say, okay, is there, just to give you a little clue too, as they're doing the wish list and you look around and people aren't writing things down, encourage them to do so, because they'll forget. They're just enamored with the jewelry, or they're mistaken and they think that if they write it down, it means you think they're going to have to buy it. And I'll just say, doesn't mean you're going to buy it. You just want to write it down. I'll take out the Verona, and I'll be like, this is what we call a staple piece. Everybody write it down. Because by the end of the show, when I show you all the different things you can do with it, you're probably going to want it, and you're not going to want to forget the name. I won't make you buy it, I promise, just write it down. Anything you can, some of the girls do little gifts. They'll be like, whoever has the most written on their wish list at the end gets a little prize. Whatever. You want to get them writing, okay? Then, at the last thing I do is I go, okay, everybody's set. Feel free to try everything on, enjoy it. Remember, I do the magic. I do the magic math. So when you're ready, just let me see your wish list, and I'll see what I can do. Okay? I don't give them the order forms, but this is when I do give them the book. Nobody fills out an order form except me. I'm the order conditioner. The conditioner, But as we're all kind of sitting there, and just someone again that you feel comfortable with, or has been to another show, I'll be like, do you mind if I use your wish list for an example? Because again, how many times have we talked about the pricing at this point? They still don't get it, okay? So that's when I would take an order form, and I would maybe take your wish list from you, Megan, and I would say, it's just for practice, it's just an illustration, and they'll go, okay. And that's when I would start to order condition, all right? And we'll practice this more and more and more. But basically what you do is you take the highest priced item that is on their wish list, and that's your goal. Your goal is to get them that item for free. Okay? So let's say their highest priced item is $159. Then I would look at all their lower priced items, and I would take their lower priced items, and I would write them up at the top. So I would say, okay, you got a $30 order item, a $40 item, another $30 item, and a $50 item. Okay? Doesn't always come out that clean. But I would say, okay, now these 4 things, these are your 4 least expensive things, and you would pay for those. That's $150. Now you get any 4 items, each $150 or less, for $12, $12, $12 free. So your $129 Celestial, 12. Your $140 whatever you have there, 12. Your $150 whatever you have there, 12. And your most expensive item, $150, free. And I would add that all up, and this is a typical example. And 150 times 5, whatever that is, $750. That's $750 worth of jewelry for $186. And then I would do the $750 minus $186 and put that in here. Can't do that in my head, but it's 500 something. You save $520. And see, when they were going, at first they're saying, oh my gosh, everything I want is $150. I go, good. That's a good thing, because you're going to get it all. Okay? Now, a couple things happen too when I do an example like this. I go, okay, and then I'll go, everybody look, and I'll show them the visual. And people go, holy cow. And they'll go, great job, Megan. Okay, a couple things happen. Again, you're on the other side of the fence now. Psychologically, the girl in the back will go, well, Megan's spending $186.
Yeah.
And she'll hear other people go, oh my gosh, that's incredible, what a great savings. So, people that you would think would never spend will spend $186, but you feel good about it too, because you just got them these huge priced items for like $12 and stuff, okay? That's called order conditioning. And then you'll go, now don't, it's my job to work within your budget. So if they, and if they go, oh gosh, I was trying to stay at the 90, I wanted to spend 100 total, then you work through things like that with them too. Mm-hmm. But that's too when also it's a gift. It's a gift. This whole customer buying program is such a gift to us because the person that has the calculator has the power. And they're sitting right there with you. So I am able to interact with every single guest personally. And that's a gift, because then I can say to them, like, if something's going on, like at your show, I go, okay, everyone who has a show gets a ring, then I can say, what ring do you want me to give you? Well, what do you mean? Well, when I come over, or whatever, or like little fun ways that you can say it with them, or, as good as I'm supposed to be at this job, I am so awkward saying to people, do you want to have a show? Like, I can't get the words out of my mouth. I was like, but I can say, are you one of the ones that's going on the vacation with Jackie? Like, I can say that. Or, do you want a free ring? I can say that, because that feels good to me, So, it's kind of like you come up with the ways that you get what you want, and you can just keep your calendar there. So, that's about 7 minutes. Okay, the last thing I want to do is just kind of go over real quick with you all of the wonderful things that you get when you start your Park Lane business, okay? First of all, once we put in your intro show, so Jackie, this is going to happen for you any day, we go into what we call the Superstart program, and it's a pamphlet, but I made copies for you, but it kind of looks like this. It'll be in your intro kit. And your first 6 months of business, you get to pick out free jewelry based on how much you sell. And your first 6 months is your first 6 months, okay? So when you get your letter, and it says, welcome to Park Lane, turn it over, and it'll have your 6 months of business. What I would do is go through your calendar and circle those dates, because they just want to make sure that nobody's gypped. No matter where you start in a month, you get your first 6 months of business, okay? 3 months from now, you're going to feel like you've been doing this forever when you're still getting to do it. It's pretty much repetitive, but it's like when you hit level 1, which means you sell $1,000 net plus 9, and most of you, like, you've already done that, okay? Because your show was 800, and then with the nons, you're well over 1,000, okay? You get to go in and into the website, and I can lead you through it. It's pretty simple, and you get to claim $200 of free jewelry. Don't do it yet though, because this is not cumulative. It's either or. Level 2 is when you hit $1,000 plus recruit 1, or hit 2,000. Okay, so in your first full month, you will do this. So just wait, and then you get to go in and claim $400 worth of free jewelry. Plus you get all those. Well, they don't have the pictures of the tools there, but there's all kinds of tools. Like they'll send you. Do they?
On the next one, I think.
Yeah, they'll send you like necklines and free invitations and mirrors and stuff like that. So level 2 is the one to really go for, which is really fun. And I love the way it's either or. It's like $1,000 plus recruit 1 or $2,000, because it's like, hey, we already know she recruited somebody and went and had spent time doing her show, so she deserves this. Then your second month, same thing. Third month, same thing. Fourth month, same thing. And I send you emails every single week telling you where you are in your Superstart, so that you don't miss your chance. okay? And then at the end, if you've done it all 6 months, not even, what is it? Do we have a picture of the ring? There's something though. What is it? It's like, yeah, you see this ring over here? You get a real diamond ring, a real diamond and garnet ring. If you hit, I can't read that, but it's even less than doing all 6 months. But when you hit that level, they give you that. Isn't that fun? So that's really cool. Now so that's your first 6 months of business. So when you guys look at my kit or look at what I got, that's how. Because I get to do it too. So every month I get to pick up free jewelry my first 6 months. Plus I got like you did, So before you know it, okay, now this is called Success Builders. Superstart is when you're new. Success Builders is for the rest of your life. Every month, all of us get to do this, and it's so cool. So level 1 is when you hit $1,000, net plus none. Again, Jackie, you've already done it. You will too in your intro show, I guarantee you, or your first 2 shows. We have a matching catalog program. There's catalogs to get you started in your box. And do you remember the way I said you hide catalogs? We don't use catalogs very freely. So we do, but it is probably our only expense in Parkland is our catalogs. And I think they're $1 a piece. $1.50 a piece for the big one, and then 50 cents for the supplement that we get every year. But they have this, which I love. So every month when I sell $1,000, I get to go in and do a matching up to 40. So if I buy 40, I get 40 free. So of each. So I'll go in and buy, I'll buy $40 catalogs, and then I'll get 40 free, so I'll get 80. But you can buy 5. You can do whatever you want. But they have a matching catalog program. Okay. Award number 2 is it when you hit 1,500 net plus none plus recruit 1. So you'll do that, Jackie, too already. You get the gift of the month. And my blinging calculator that everybody loves, that was a gift of the month. I had to have it. It's like, and they got a picture of it. It's like something that nobody else can have. It's only people that do this, and it's really fun. And you'll see it. We'll show you where to find it. There's clues. They do this fun stuff where there's like a clue, and I'm like, that's gonna be the gift of the month. And it's just really cool stuff. Sometimes it's business tools, sometimes it's jewelry, but it's just a fun thing they do for us. But award number 3 is where it's at, and that's when you sell $2,500 in a month. We get new jewelry every single month, which is a salesperson's dream, okay? Every single month. So I've got like my jewelry hose, I call them. Should I say that on the webinar? Too late. And every month they want to see what I got. Well, if we sell $2,500, we automatically get that jewelry for free. Shows up in our mail. I love that. I love that because I don't have to buy anything, okay? And then there's an award number 4, which is a designer outfit program. I just got one in the mail the other day. It's actually adorable. They have personal shoppers and stuff. You go in and claim, you tell them your sizes, and they send you a designer outfit. That's kind of fun. Now, when you're new, you guys, you get to double dip, so you get all of this. So as you're picking your free jewelry, you don't pick what's going to be new the next month because you're going to get that too. And that's how we fill up your kit super, super fast. All right? Now, there is something that you'll hear us train on and talk about a lot. And it's called 5-in-1. Because, and we really owe this to our national director, who is also a good friend of mine, Shannon Pell. She came over from the company I came over from, and she said that when she was looking at all this, probably like you're feeling now, she was like, oh my God, she was dizzy. And she thought about it, and it's brilliant what she came up with. And she said, you know what I figured out? She said, I figured out that if you do 5 shows a month and recruit 1 every month, and then train everybody else to do that, you'll get everything. Always. Forever. And I don't mean just your superstar. I don't mean just your success builders. You'll get up to, you'll go all the way up to here. Like, if we do a little example sometimes and we show you how if you do it your first 6 months of business, you'll go all the way up to division manager, which is, the average incomes on division managers is like $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. But that's the trick. And I'm not telling you, like you do with this job whatever you want to do it, but I really talk about 5-in-1 because honestly it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. You're like, that's 26 days off. 5 shows a month. Well, 24 because there's one recruit in there that you're helping her. But if you're seriously like, if you keep your eye on that prize, you'll get everything. You'll get, because an average show is $500. But that's low really. That's going to get you your 2,500. It's going to get you a gift of the month because you did your recruit one. It's going to get you all of this. on your superstars. It's gonna get you, if you did 5 shows a month and recruited one and other people were doing that too, you go boom, 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 boom. It's really cool. It's really cool. So, and I've had a lot of people say to me, you know, when you said that, all of a sudden everything was just like, well, I could do that, you know. And you don't have to. It's just that if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm an achiever and I don't know how to do all this. So, are there any questions? And I really have a couple minutes, but truly ask me questions that you have, because the people on the webinar would have the same questions you would have.
So, I'm seeing this paper here. Do I need to go in and?
Yes.
Because I have.
I'm not sure if we put that on there, but the myparklane.com is when you go in and sign up for your, you sign up for your website. I'm glad you asked this, Jackie, okay? Very easy. You go into myparklane.com, it'll say sign up. You can do it too, Megan, even though you didn't have your show yet, okay? It just won't know who you are yet, and it won't let you do a lot on it, but it will let you register. All right, it'll say sign in or register. All right, because every time from now on when you go in to do anything, like enter a show, this is how we get in there, myparklane.com. You really have 3 choices. One is free. Don't sign up for that one, okay? That means that you would forever ever have to send all of your shows in on paperwork, and you have to pay credit card fees. It's stupid. The other choice is gold membership, and that's $50 a year. And whenever your year's up, they let you know, okay? That gives you where you can enter all your shows online. All you do is put in people's credit card numbers. They do all that for you. It's wonderful, okay? The other one is a platinum, and that's $150 a year. That's the one that I did, of course, but, and just so you know, you can start at the 50, and at any time during your year, upgrade. Okay, so some people, like Jackie's like, well, I need $100 already, you know, I'm just going to do it, or whatever. But you can upgrade. I'm going to tell you the advantages of platinum. 2 big ones. 3. 1, you get 500 free business cards. So you get to order them and they send you your business cards. Secondly, you get to be part of the consultant locator. So people start to hear about Park Lane, they put in the right city zip code, your name's going to pop up. Okay.
Somebody found me that way for an event.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and especially being the first, it's pretty powerful, okay? Most important, if you choose to do that 150, you get a website, your own personal website. So like when I do myparklane.com, in fact, do this, you guys, myparklane.com, and then you put /M Lewandowski, M for Mary Grace, and then LEWANDOWSKI, and go ahead and look in mine. That's when people, and I didn't do any of that. All I did was pay the $150, and I put my picture there. They go in and they can shop. They can still get the $12 items in the freeze. Oh, see? They go in and do all that. So you're making money while you sleep. When you do a show, like when I did this for both of your shows, when I do a show, I can click a box that says that they could order from your show through my website. So when they go in through my website, they would put your name in as the hostess, and that would link right to the show. So it's kind of cool because, you know, sometimes people are like, my mom lives in Florida, and they can do that, and then they get the stuff shipped right to them, but it all counted for your show. So it's just, especially being on the bottom of it, but I mean, it's your choice, and I totally understand people's financials, whatever, but I can't recommend it highly enough. And honestly, the company I used to work for, it was $17 a month, which is way more than $150. So it is reasonable. It's just that it's all up front, one time. But you can upgrade later if you want to. So, and once you do that, it's that easy. Then you just kind of go through here and just review all some of the neat stuff. A lot of it is, honestly, you guys, last July I was right where you are, except that I was supposed to be a company vice president, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know how to enter a show. I didn't know, you know, so I always tell everyone, I'm like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. It really just all comes together.
So once you register, then you can start.
You're good to
entering
go.
shows.
Yeah.
I already have orders from
Go home and
people
do
who
it.
couldn't be
Yeah.
at my party, so
Yeah.
make that
Make it a show. Order entry, and then
Okay.
I'm just a phone call away. I can help
Okay.
you. And in fact, it's even like a little driver's ed car. It's fun because if you were to call me or whoever and said, can you help me with this, I can sign in as you at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Which I love. So I can go, okay, let's try this. Okay, go to this screen. I can lead you right through it. I love that. And there's nothing private in there. So I kind of like to even know your finance,
Mhm.
you know, just so I can help you at any time. I keep a list of them, or whatever someplace,
And
so.
then when we place the order, the jewelry is shipped to us at our house? Like,
Well, you have
we-
to indicate that, where you
Oh,
want
okay,
it shipped.
okay, so it'll
So it would
tell
ship
me
you somewhere else
everything.
if you
Okay.
wanted to, yes.
Is it extra charge to ship other places?
Yes, it's three, well,
You can ship to one place, all the order to one place, and then
Yeah, like-
individuals, you pay more to ship individually.
yeah, like if, let's say there's
Okay.
10 people at a show, it's gonna be $6 per person for shipping, but if one girl wants it to be shipped direct to her, she pays another $9.
Okay.
So, otherwise it's all gonna go to the hostess. But it's
Okay.
wonderful, it goes to the hostess, and the box this big, it's all divided out
Mhm.
already with their names on it. Phenomenal.
Okay. Yeah, the one
But we
I
ship
did,
direct too.
it shipped direct to their house.
Yeah, it's an option, it's just $3 extra,
Okay.
so, yeah. And sometimes, you know, if you can tell it's just like a kind of a cranky person, I'm like, oh, sure, and I don't even charge them, like, I'll do it. Good? Everyone good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, do you care if I call you tomorrow, cause I gotta run to my show? Okay,
That's fine.
because I wanna pick the date for your intro show.
I have class the